Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Vlad from WritingLeagues.com, and I'm here with another vote on our OnlyOne Topical Writing League. And the battle I'm voting today will be Diasick, whatever, versus D.K.O.N. D.K.O.N? Yeah. And the topic we have is that's kind of a cool topic. It's like an apocalyptic looking sky, dope ass background, with like an earth elemental deity looking thing, fragments of earth or rocks, and this deity is sort of floating or chained or vined on top of what looks like a piece of earth, but is also a face. So it's fucking interesting, and I don't think it's my sort of topic, but I think you guys will have the potential to slay this shit. So let's start with Dia. I gotta get that right one of these days. You've probably told me to. Whatever. Alright. Caustic Winds by Diasick. These hands tell a phantom's tale. We can't prevail in this land of fail. The scum creeps you out like Annabelle. We're headed down a random trail. Stranded until our brand unveils, a handsome expanding. That never happens. I would rather be trapped inside without a soul close to the heart. Soul close to my heart. I want to get out more. You act like I chose to open the dark. My soul is divided. I don't know who broke it apart. Okay. That's not a bad start. I'm not 100% sold on the simplicity, like overly simplistic rhyme scheme in the first section. It flowed pretty smooth though, so I can't really. I'm not going to nitpick. Just keep going. So the second section, I like ending that section with my soul is divided. I don't know who broke it apart. After they open the dark line, I think this should be an interesting read. I'm not 100% sure where you're going with it yet, and I like that. Time to find out. Outside world is fucked up. I wouldn't give it a light stare. If I knew someone that loved me, I might care and make a life there. Maybe find a wife, turn off the lights despite night terrors. Nice scheme. All the art here has an ongoing theme of unanswered questions, beautiful imaginary imagery to fulfill second guesses, painting a reality that don't exist until life reaches its evanescence. When I think I'm alone, there's an extra presence. It was a threat possessed with less aggressive, deadly messages that left us stressing until the depth compresses. And I've got a slight issue with there. Not with that end part. See, that's the. I found it a little bit inconsistent in that sense. Theme of unanswered questions to fulfill second guesses. I think that might be off in count by one, unless I need to add something else. Until life reaches its evanescence, there's an extra presence. The difference between evanescence and presence. I mean, you could go its evanescence, there's an extra presence, if that's what you meant, which now I just got, so I might have to retract that. But I did have that slight issue because then, sorry, because after that, which I had to now question, maybe I shouldn't have, whatever I did, you then followed with, it was a threat possessed with less aggressive, deadly messages that left us stressing until the depth compresses, and that shit is on point as fuck, and that's beautiful. So I just found a slight inconsistency with that. It might be just from my personal side. The thing is that you know who you're against as well. I haven't really brought that up at all in any of the battles yet, but if there's one person you know that's gonna fucking kill the flow and the pace and the rhymes and the schemes, I mean, it's your opponent. It's D.K.O.N. So you kind of needed to try to match that in a sense. But we'll see. I'm not judging anything against you yet. I'm gonna keep going. So far, I like it though. I mean, the content of what you're telling it's a very nice setup so far. I can't see a brighter, nicer future until I clear my thoughts. Maybe I fear results from the years of sloth. The tears are washed from the tears of cloth. Maybe I'm scared to hear response from the spirit box. Okay. I just had to reread that in my head real quick. Um, I was kind of getting the same sort of vibe as I got in the stanza before, but I think that was nice. Um, yeah, I don't think I really have any complaints. Um, all right. I'm being chased to the bottom of the sand. I want my power back because when the problems expand, I'm a coward spiraling fast. I have an issue. I want my power back. I'm a coward spiraling fast. It's the ing I'm spiraling. I think that throws that off a bit for me. Um, you might bring it around and match it to the next line, in which case I'll have to retract my statement. But I'll do the section again here from the start. I'm being chased to the bottom of the sand. I want my power back because when the problems expand, I'm a coward spiraling fast, bringing down anyone I encounter down this sour path. The sand empties and reveals a bloodbath. This is an hour's glass. Yeah, I think I still have the issue. Dia. I think I still have the issue because unless you've got something else that goes with spiraling fast, which no, I don't believe so. So you had power back, sour path, hourglass, which are on point. Spiraling fast, a bit off. A bit off, my friend. Again, this isn't even taking away from a whole lot. Because, again, still, it's just those minor things, and I might even be picking at this a little bit more because they're a bit more noticeable to me. But, again, I really enjoy the content. So, I'll keep going. If these are my final moments, I refuse to repent, execute and defend. I'm still mute and refute the end. This is a role I used to pretend. Art imitates life, it's fused within, until the noose descends from the ceiling and loosens ends. That section's fire. Fucking fire, good shit. Choosing this, illusion mixed with fusion tricks. The only time a union sticks is when I'm losing quick. So that whole section, 2, 4, 6, that's like 7 bars, 7 lines, I mean. That whole section, dude, is what I wanted to see. See, that's why I'm having issues with some of the other little things, the power back spiraling fast, because I know you can do this other shit. This other shit is, if you had been 100% consistent with that, I would have been super fucking happy. I'm going to read that section again and then go through to the end because I'm interrupting myself a bit more than I have been with some other ones. I'm going to try not to. If these are my final moments, I refuse to repent, execute and defend. I'm still mute and refute the end. This is a role I used to pretend. Art imitates life, it's fused within, until the noose descends from the ceiling and loosens ends. Choosing this, illusion mixed with fusion tricks. The only time a union sticks is when I'm losing quick. See, that's fucking fire. That is fucking fire. 100% what I wanted to see. Volcano stopped erupting, there's still strong burns active. Consistently fucking up, wrong turns passive. Nice rhyme. No justice for the chaos, why do these law firms practice? The sand dissipates to nothingness, we're still long-term captives. Not 100% sure where the why do these law firms practice comes in, unless I'm missing something. I'll keep going though. The sand dissipates to nothingness, we're still long-term captives. We're still waiting for that metaphorical apocalypse, rhetorical unconsciousness, and the darkness as a consequence. We're still lost in this hot abyss, waiting for the plot to twist. It's costing us honest and positive common sense. Beside the sandstorms, I've been caught in this caustic wind. I mean, this verse is nice. This verse is fucking nice, dude. I'm a little confused if you're playing on something metaphorical. As the overall. If you are, you can let me know. at some point. Yeah, it's why do these law firms practice? That part kind of gets to me because, um, hmm. I'm skimming this. I'm skimming this again, real quick. Taking a sip of water. So the next thing I'm thinking is that if you're using that deity and this Earth, the sort of apocalyptic Earth, um, as a metaphor for like a broken society, which I mean I can 100% get behind that. Um, if these are my final moments, so I don't know if is this sort of the end or the end of the world as we know it, and it's sort of heading to an apocalypse. Is that metaphorical to, again, society? And you're writing about a character uh, who is sort of going through all those things. I guess actually the end. I'll read that again. We're still waiting for that metaphorical apocalypse, rhetorical uncon. Okay. So this is an inner struggle, or an inner slash societal struggle with a singular character. Um, that might be what I'm getting at. Um, I wish that text was an answer to if I'm right or not. Because I mean, I can totally see if you're going that way. Um, it kind of seems like it with the maybe find a wife, turn off the lights. Um, it would make sense if it's that way. I'd still like you to let me know. I'm gonna sort of. I'm not judging it on if it is that way or if it's not. I'm kind of gonna go under the assumption that it is. Um, but yeah. So, all right. So yeah, this verse was nice, dude. This verse was nice. You had some flashes of fucking genius. That one section that I read twice. If these are my final moments, I refuse to repent. That whole section is fucking fire. That was on some like matching D.K.O.N flow sort of shit. But I did have to point out a couple spots where I felt it was off a bit. Because it was slightly inconsistent in that sense. Is that for the most part, like even 90% was smooth. But 10%, maybe even less than that, maybe 5%, I had slight issues with, and they're not even really issues. Like if that was the consistency, and it was all like that, then it would have been fine. But so the nitpicking that I'm doing is because you had that 90% that was on fucking point, and I really just wanted you to step that other 10% up, get that other 10% in there, and it would have been the flow and the schemes would have been solid as fuck. As is, it's a nice fucking verse, dude. It's a nice verse. Other than that, I mean, no real complaints. I'd almost like to complain that I have to kind of question if I've picked it up right. In a way, I mean, that could be just the way I read it, the way I'm looking at it. It could be that everybody else picks up on it and I didn't, so shame on me. But at the same time, I also think that if I have to question, and sort of talk through with myself about if that's it or not, I do feel in a slight sense that you could have made it a bit easier for that to be picked up. Because I mean, you're writing for yourself, right? But you still got to appeal to a reader as well. All right, I'm gonna light a cigarette, and then we're going to D.K.O.N's. And some water. Alright. The Lesson by D.K.O.N. You said you would return to burn the sinner's flesh from tainted bone. Atonement in their marrow would refresh what hate had sown. I laid in growing patience, prone to pestilence and war be known. I stayed my doubtful thoughts and waited, praying, all alone. See, that's the flow that was expected. As a nice start, dude. As a nice start. I sense almost like a reflective to this piece from the perspective of a character that you're putting in. What I admire most is that you never said goodbye, that you never shed a tear, simply left me with an empty sky. Woven from the fabric of your mind, you called me masterpiece, created me with golden spines beneath the scattered trees. You cried amidst the strands of time, your tears they gathered into seas. The seventh day we rested, you and I, we truly mastered peace. I fucking like what you did. The scheme was nice. The scheme was beautiful. Slight alteration in the scheme. I liked it. You called me masterpiece to we truly mastered peace. It was fucking nice. That was a nice touch. Some people don't like that sort of repetitive, but I love the throwback. Even if it's within the same section, the way you did it was good. I like it. No complaints. You ran your starry fingers through my tides and sang the winds to life, then vowed to me your wedding gifts would all be worth the price. I twice considered mentioning your oversight of sacrifice, but who was I to second-guess creation, right? I think I might have a slight issue with that, my good sir. I mean, worth the price of sacrifice works. Wins to life, worth the price. Yeah, slanty-ish. Can't be too complainy about that. Oversight of sacrifice into second-guess creation, right? Yeah, because that matches the way I said it. Oversight of sacrifice, second-guess creation, right? Yeah, it is slightly off to me. Sorry. As nitpicking, because I did it to Dia, so I gotta point that out. You haven't had quite the hiccups that I mean, it's just that one, so I wouldn't even say it was a hiccup. And you probably had a reason for doing it that way. I'm not sure if it was for the content. I mean, the content so far is again what I expected. Is top level. Definitely seems to be what I had in mind, even from the first couple sections so far. So I like it. I fucks with it. Cigarette drag, and we'll start again. You littered me with man that even looked like you, it's hardly fair, then spun me on the dance floor of the universe and left me there. I like that you broke that bar and separated it from the other stanzas. It's fucking nice. And I see you did that with another one too. You never said goodbye, left me with an empty sky. I like how you're doing that because those little two-line things are fucking fire, dude. It's like, it kind of reminds me of like a Wes one-liner. You're doing it in two, and it's tight. It's nice. I cared unto your children as my own and offered sustenance. I must admit my jealousy was brushed, but I adjusted it. In trust I bit my angered lip and mustered a constructive sense, but lust and thankless ego must be all that you've entrusted them. That's fucking fire. That's fire, and the content, exactly where I seen it going, and I know when I first skimmed it, I kind of had to read it a few times to fully pick it up. But I feel it, and the way you're doing it, I like it. Countless nights and days have passed, their colonies they raise collapse. They pray to faceless deities, then kill for race or baseless fact. That's fucking true shit. That's fucking deep. I like it. And more they raise my surface and they scorch my face to traceless ash. Your creations would erase themselves, and me, I can't embrace the act. There's another one, that whole section, dude. That's 2 sections in a row that are just fucking fire. Content as well. The flow, dude, this game, yeah, you fucking hit those right out of the park. I still believe that your intent was born from a romantic mind, but survival and self-preservation overrides romance sometimes. With every ounce of energy that your betrayal manifests, I branded the volcanoes paired with fury winds that rendered flesh, and shook until I opened every wounded scar you ever blessed, to swallow every trace of man till not a solemn face was left. Damn, so just fucking destroyed the shit out of mankind. Alright, I feel you. See, that it's good that I know where that I picked up on it. Yeah, so yeah, I like 100% where this went. It really follows a good storyline so far. And I am excited again to see where it leads to. Actually, and I just skimmed the next to the first line, and that's exactly where it leads to. Okay. So I'm just going to do that stanza again to the rest. With every ounce of energy that your betrayal manifests, I branded the volcanoes paired with fury winds that rendered flesh, and shook until I opened every wounded scar you ever blessed, to swallow every trace of man, till not a sallow face was left. Then recreated sinew, yeah, one of those. Shut up. Then recreated sinew from the roots beneath my bloodied soil. I reimagined bone from stones and flesh from leafy foil. With eyes of glowing ruby and a heart of flowered vines in coil. In jest, I thought it fitting that their flowered hearts beat oil. Did you just make a recreation joke? I think in the way you did, and if you did, it's funny. I mean, it's funny either way, because that's how I'm getting it. It's like that. I mean, you said in jest, yeah. It's like a little irony thrown in there, and I really fucking like that you put that in there, and the way that you did it. Their colonies were raised, and not by hatred was a soul impaired. They prayed to me for bounty, and in countless times I shared. I cared for them as I did yours, but see how well creation fares, when all you simply did is be there. I feel you. I often wish that you'd return to me and learn this lesson taught, but maybe that's the point, for us to teach ourselves and need you not. That is a fucking dope way to finish, sir. So, yeah, I mean, that was fucking nice, dude. That was fucking dope. Again, there's the few complaints. I mean, maybe just the one. With every ounce of energy that your betrayal manifest, I branded the volcanoes paired with fury winds that rendered flesh. And I know you followed up with every wounded scar you ever blessed, which fits a bit more with rendered flesh. A solemn face was left. I think betrayal manifest. I think the wording in that slightly threw me off. But again, it's not a huge thing. I'm just kind of picking at shit like I did with Dia. Fucking tell me, like, when you hear this, Diasick, tell me again, dude, because I gotta like say it twice every time I do it, just to try to get it right, because fucking OCD. But yeah, so I mean, D.K.O.N, fire fucking verse, dude. Flow was like 98% on point for me. And the other thing too is I know that if you read this or rapped it out loud, even those other things would match up, and it would sound, with you saying it and knowing exactly the tempo. I think even those little examples that I had, I think those would work out. So I'm not really picking at them. I'm not really even picking at Dia's little mishaps there that I, from my perspective, had seen. This is a great battle. you both took really good approaches to the topic. So I'm gonna get to voting. So topic, consistency, creativity. I mean, I think I can call that. I think I can just call that a tie. I think, yeah, again, the approaches you took were fucking nice, both of them. Still have the question about Dias, but I don't really think not 100% knowing the answer to that question takes away from it. And either way that I read it, because I can read Dias or take it in the two different ways, like I said, but I think either way it works for me. And yeah, they were nice. So I think I'm going tie on that. Entertainment and style. I think I've got to go with D.K.O.N on that, mainly for the entertainment. Those, I really like how you broke it up and did those single bar sections, and those were fucking beautifully written. They kind of just appealed to me a bit more, and that takes that for my side. Emotion would be the next one. That's close. I might have that a tie. Yeah, it was fucking close. Because I can definitely feel for both of these. I mean, especially D.K.O.N's with the recreation of the earth because of neglect, and told from the perspective of the one who was neglected, or who was sort of in charge or looking over the neglected, instead of quote unquote God. I mean, it's weird that could be related to, but I mean, in a way it can. I can put myself in, well, maybe not put myself in the shoes, but I can feel it, you know. I can feel it. And Dias, I mean, a bit more direct emotion. The stuff like, I can't see a brighter, nicer future until I clear my thoughts. Maybe I fear results from the years of sloth. It was a bit more direct emotion, but I felt it nonetheless. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with tie on emotion. Really could have gone either way. The next one we have is imagery, and I think this is probably close too. Dia start, these hands tell a phantom's tale. Being chased to the bottom of the sand, I want my power back. The sand empties and reveals a bloodbath. This is an hourglass. Volcano stopped erupting. There's still strong burns active. So that's kind of what I've got from that. D.K.O.N. Return to burn the sinner's flesh from tainted bone. Atonement in their marrow would refresh what hate had sown. Crafted me with golden spines beneath the scattered trees. You cried amidst the strands of time. Your tears they gathered into seas. That's fucking beautifully written right there. Starry fingers through my tides and sang the winds to life. That is fucking beautiful, dude. It really is. Yeah. Branded the volcanoes, paired with fury winds that rendered flesh, shook until I opened every wounded scar you ever blessed, to swallow every trace of man. Recreated sinew from the roots beneath my bloodied soil, I reimagined bone from stones and flesh from leafy foil, with eyes of glowing ruby and a heart of flowered vines in coil. In jest, I thought it fitting that their flowered hearts beat oil. Yeah. Imagery, it's got to go to D.K.O.N, man. I mean, not even just for like the way he wrote that, but for the way he wrote that. I know, right? I know. I think there were more instances that D.K.O.N had imagery, direct and indirect. I could totally picture that shit, especially coupled with the DD elemental thing in the picture. I could picture sort of the recreation, that whole section, recreated sinew from the roots beneath my bloodied soil, that whole section, dude. And I mean, if the image, if you had more than Dia, but it wasn't well done, I wouldn't be giving you the points. But you did have more, from what I picked up, and it was all well done. It was fucking consistent. So imagery's going to Dia, or D.K.O.N. Both start with D. D. Next one, storytelling devices. I think I gotta go with a straight D.K.O.N. On that, because I had to personally question some of Daya's, and I mean, I'm pretty sure I picked it up. I just think that the plot, the narration, I'm looking at the storytelling devices and the voting categories. I've got that shit up in the background for all of these, just so I'm trying to make sure I don't skip something. But yeah, so plot, narration, conflict, that whole thing, like you built it up to that point where the Earth gets destroyed and then is rebuilt. That's the conflict. The development of the character that you're describing was fucking beautiful. So storytelling devices is going to D.K.O.N. Poetic devices. I mean, D.K.O.N had a bit more poetic tone in those sort of one-liners. Diasick had things like choosing this illusion mixed with fusion tricks. The only time a union sticks is when I'm losing quick. I kind of took that in a different, in almost like a simile sense, also metaphoric, if that fucking makes sense. It kind of does to me. Symbolism, I mean, they were both verses were based on and describing a form of symbolization. Poetic devices, guys. Not really sure if I can place a direct. I think I have to go slightly D.K.O.N. just because some of those, the poetic tones, the undertones of it stood out to me a bit more. I think there was a bit better use, and what you did use was well done. So I mean that's close, but that poetic devices is gonna go to D.K.O.N. Spelling, vocab, grammar. You know what? If there was one battle where I thought I was gonna vote in a category for the opponent in vocab and grammar and spelling, I thought it'd be this one, because Diasick, bruh. But you stepped it up, dude. Like you actually reread your shit and went, is this the actual word I want? And it was. So that's going to tie. Flow and pace, for the reasons already stated, that is going to D.K.O.N. It wasn't like you got blown out of the water, Diasick, whatever. Yeah, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like a fucking sweep in that, because other than the few hiccups that I found, it was fucking consistent, dude. And I mean, you could probably spit that or read it out loud as well, and it would probably match up. Just that it's fucking hard to outdo D.K.O.N. in that sort of thing. and is really close. Is really close. But I do have it. I do have the slight edge to D.K.O.N. And rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme is going to be the same for me. It's going to be D.K.O.N. for rhyme scheme. For the same reason. You both had fucking nice transitions. I think D.K.O.N's did maybe stand out a little bit more. I think he might have had better use of the multis and and internals. Some of it was a bit more complex than Diasick's. Not by a lot and not all of it. Maybe one or two spots. But I do think it was enough to give a slight edge. So, with that said, it looks like it's almost a cat sweep for D.K.O.N. Because I've got like entertainment style, imagery, storytelling, poetic devices, flow, pace, and rhyme scheme. And then consistency, creativity, emotion, spelling, shit. Those three are ties. So, I mean, my vote is for D.K.O.N, but in those categories that D.K.O.N took, they were fucking close, dude. Like, especially storytelling and poetic devices. Imagery as well, shit. And it was super fucking close. I think there was just enough to edge D.K.O.N to D.K.O.N in those categories. But again, man, this was a fucking crazy battle, and like we've had a couple crazy battles already. Enoch Nigma, Rude, West Ghost, and then this one. I mean, that's three fucking top-notch battles. And for Unique and Octavius, I'm not trying to like slight you motherfuckers if you're listening. That battle was good. That battle was good. I mean, you're both slightly new, especially Octavius, still trying to figure things out. So that's why I'm kind of dividing those echelons, from sort of getting there to been established at top tier. So anyway, the point is that this is pretty much on par with like the Enoch Nigma and the Rude West Ghost. That's the top three battles so far. And yeah, this is a fire fucking battle. I love the approaches from both of you. I really don't have. I stated what little complaints I did have. You both know what the fuck you're doing. That seems to be a trend. With all these top tier, I mean, it's expected that if you're established and top tier, that you know what the fuck you're doing, and the things you're doing are meant to be there. So that's all I got, really. I think that's about it. I don't have any complaints, minus the complaints that I had. Yeah, I know, I said that, right? So there's that. Again, the vote is going to D.K.O.N. I suck at wrapping these up. So I hope, again, that both of you stick around for round two. Because, I mean, these verses, dude. Like, these verses, top tier as fuck, and they would beat quite a lot of people. So, that's all for me, and take it easy.